Today I'm going to show you how to fly the Harrier, and currently the time is 11:02 at night in the UK. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to change this to daytime. So I'm going to move it to 0900-ish, and then I'm going to pick a flight plan that I already have loaded, and that'll be a flight from East Midlands to Birmingham. So I'm going to go into Flight Planner in the ETB and in this top one, and there's a load file, load PLN file, load from this PC, East Midlands to Birmingham, open, and the cruise height is 3,500 feet. There's a warning there saying it can't be reached, but don't worry about that. And I'm going to send that to ATC and Avionics, and that's done. So that has now been sent to the computer that controls the air traffic control, and it's also been sent to the computer on the aircraft. And I'm just going to go into this free program called Little Nav Map. It's a free program, and I'm going to go into flight planning. Let me just close that, and we'll clear any flights already in it, and I'll open up the flight plan, East Midlands to Birmingham. Open that, and there we have the flight plan there. It's a direct flight, and it's on 214, a bearing of 214. But for the time being, it's just going to be a straight direct flight. So going back to the flight simulator, Microsoft Flight Simulator 2024. What I'm going to do is I'm going to go straight to the aircraft first, because it's something we need to do in the aircraft. Go straight to the aircraft in 2D. 2 dimensions, and we're going to go into the aircraft. It's going to come up with the standard little window that says
East Midlands
ready
Tower,
to fly.
Marine Sierra at runway 27 ready for departure, IFR to Birmingham.
So ready to fly, we're now in the aircraft. What we have to do, and it's easiest to do it in 2 dimensions, is we need to change this fuel display. So I think it's Shift and 2 takes us over here. Let's try Shift and 3. There we go. Shift and 3. Now at the moment we're on a fuel tank. It's outboard fuel tank, and there's no outboard fuel tank. No fuel in the outboard fuel tank. I've just changed it to the inboard fuel tank, and it's got 2,800 pounds in each tank. So just Control 1, sorry, Shift 1 takes us back up to the original position. I've got an aircraft on the runway here. What I'm also going to do is I'm going to switch on FS traffic, and this will provide air traffic at the airports. I should have said WP7 there. Should say Echo Golf Bravo Bravo. Echo Golf Bravo Bravo. Confirm. Close that. And that means we now got flight simulator traffic. Echo Golf Bravo Bravo. That's really good. That means we've got flight simulator traffic at both this airport and the airport we're going to, and all along the route. And you can see across here, this is the route we're going to be flying. But we're not going to see this map because we're going to be in 3D. So the map we're going to be looking at in the aircraft is this map here, and that little green line is what we're going to be flying along. and this is the map we have to use for navigation, because as far as I can make out there's no map in the heads up display. So I'm now going to switch over to 3D, and that's me now in 3 dimensions. So I can look out the aircraft, I can look around the aircraft, and I can look down at the control panels. Now to fly the Harrier, I have mapped certain controls of mine to certain controls on the aircraft. I have a throttle quadrant, I've mapped the exhausts on the engine, the exhausts to first lever, and throttle is mapped to the second lever. I'll just put the throttle on, not a little bit, and you see it move. There we go. So we have the throttle set, and that's in the middle lever, and the left hand lever is not doing anything. I have the pedals, and foot brakes are on the pedals. Flaps is a switch, and gear up is a switch. Gear up, gear down is a toggle switch. Flaps is a down switch and an up switch should you want to switch the flaps off. But they're actually automatic flaps on this aircraft. And there's also a button that allows me to exit the aircraft and look at the aircraft from the outside. So I'm just going to do that. So now outside the aircraft, I'm just going to scroll around to the aircraft. And if I move the exhaust quadrant, move the exhaust quadrant, you can see the exhaust nozzles moving. Take a little bit around, and if I set the flaps, there we have the flaps. There we are. Put the flaps back up to 0, and go back into the aircraft. So now you know what happens outside the aircraft with certain controls. So now back inside the aircraft, and looking down at, switch on this controller. Oh, we're going to point there, that's pointing. I don't actually point at the thing myself, but there is the switch for the flaps. I'm just going to switch for the flaps into the on position, and there we go. Down to 61 degrees of flaps. And over here we have the handbrake. Unfortunately, I can't operate it on a lever, it doesn't work, it only works on a switch. So those are the controls we're going to be using. To lift the aircraft, what we do is we pull the exhaust nozzles, there's a little line on the exhaust nozzles, exhaust nozzle quadrant, and pull it back to about there past the line. Not all the way back, but just about there. And what we can do now is if we increase the throttle, we can expel the exhaust gas through the nozzle vertically down at the ground. Now, as I apply the exhaust, the throttle, the aircraft will actually start to move. Let me just take off the handbrake first. Handbrake, and here we are, we're starting to move forward. I'll just shut that off and then apply the foot brake. So we don't want the aircraft to move forward. So what we're going to do is we're going to take off, and then I'm going to rotate the nozzles into forward position.
I'll be doing a voiceover as my voice in the original is drowned out by the noise of the engine.
And we'll attempt to take off vertically.
So I'm applying the throttle in an attempt to take off vertically.
Side, make sure you move forward or
I'm just looking out of the aircraft to ensure there's no forward or rearward movement.
Just putting back.
Applying more power, more power, more power, more power.
power.
I'm just trying to balance the forward-rear movement using the exhaust quadrant. Applying more power, and that's us just starting to mount. We've now got positive rate of climb. We're now in the air, and I'm just trying to control the rocket movement by slight movements of the stick. I'm preparing for transition to forward flight. I'll be keeping the throttle in the same setting and moving the exhaust quadrant lever forward and directing the exhaust rearward. I've already raised the landing gear and we're starting to transition into forward flight. I'm turning the aircraft to the left to turn to bearing of 214 degrees. While turning the aircraft, I'm glancing down the map to check I'm lining up on 214 degree vector lines. Now that I'm almost flat at level, I can adjust the speed of the aircraft and turn onto the desired heading. At the moment we are flying on a parallel course of 214. I'll just cheat a little and turn on the vector reverse. Now we can just fast forward to Birmingham.
We're going to intercept that line eventually, but probably in about a minute. So everything's looking good. We'll fly to Birmingham Airport. 16702. Fast forward to Birmingham Airport.
As those approaching Birmingham Airport, you need to reduce speed to just above 200 knots. Firstly, to reduce throttle, as we've been doing in the other aircraft, we need to be aware that less speed means less lift on the wings.
Climb and maintain 2,000.
So we're slowing down.
Climb and maintain 2,000 Marine Sierra.
But again, look at the flight, the feet per minute. The feet per minute is
As
now
the
going
airspeed
up,
drops,
right?
we need to be ready to move the exhausts into a downward pointing direction and
Slow
start to
down.
apply the throttle.
Reduce throttle. Pull the nozzle back. Now descending, 200 feet per minute. Now climbing 1,000 feet per minute. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to exhaust nozzle all the way back, and thrust up.
I've slowed the aircraft and the exhausts are pointing down.
This is
I'm
now
now applying throttle
hovering.
to increase lift
Start
and slow
hovering.
descent.
Full thrust.
We're now almost in the
Thrust,
hover.
drop, drop. hold it there, 0, 1, 0. Go back to the
Pulled the exhaust lever too far back, the aircraft is now going backwards.
This is still the start to get
Just need to adjust the exhaust direction.
Just hold it there. Second, that's 200 feet. 250 feet. So we're just coming down. We're just
I now have the correct exhaust direction, reducing the throttle to allow the aircraft to descend. I'm aiming for a
Let's go
descent speed
see if we can get as close to the centre spot.
when I land. I'm going to use the stick for left and right movements. Further from the station,
right
the
stick.
exhaust will throttle forward back. We're going to attempt to land as close as possible to the centre of the runway.
Us on the ground. Foot brake on. That's us on the ground, almost at the correct location. That's flying a Harrier. It isn't easy. Parking brake on, take the feet off the levers. And if we go back to the nav, you can see this was our flight. So we came out, we flew along the line, and we landed at the airport. Bit of manoeuvring while we hit the mark, and that was a good flight.